What's up, lads? You're with the Budget Monk, and here I am playing Byzantium on Domination, and what I wanted to do is give you guys some insight as to what exactly the naval battles represent. I'm talking about the battle tab that opens up, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to make a little video here talking about battles. That's the main gist of the battle, is breaking down the information for you, but I'm going to give you two tips. One is about to happen right now, first thing, on what you want to do when it comes to naval game. Two tips which are going to help you big time, and one tip which is a big no-no. Stay away from that. You don't ever really want to do that. So let's get right into things here. The perfect target is Epirus, and the reason I say that is because on very hard difficulty, he has 8 galleys. In fact, I can see his fleet right here. He's got 8 galleys. So I actually begin with 5 galleys, meaning it's pretty fair here initially. Declaring on the 11th of December because that is the first day we can declare war, and I'm starting from a typical Byzantium perspective here, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. But before I do that, I want to talk about the one of the two major tips that you want to do. Now, this can be utilized to either attack their fleet when you declare war, or to avoid their fleet, which is more important when they have naval supremacy. And that is what I'm about to demonstrate. When we go to war, you're going to see here that one day, if we let one day go by to the 12th, his morale, if you look at it, it's full, is going to go down. Do you see that? And the reason it went down is because by default, the AI keeps their naval morale at 90%. So in other words, it didn't go down, but his morale just went up, meaning that they have 10% damage to their morale as long as you hit them on the first day of the month. And if your participating fleet is even remotely comparable, we've got Athens' ships here, remember, if they're even remotely comparable to the enemies, they will actually do what you see here, which is they will try to hide away from the enemy that is too strong. That is on the first month. So in this case, we attacked 11 days into the month, but typically that's the big tip. You can use this to catch them out of position if you can, if they're out at sea, or alternatively avoid them while they are avoiding you and transport around in the first month. That's a good tip. Otherwise, we're going to see where he is going to the Aegean. Okay, so we're going to use that to our advantage and engage him here. We'll roll an admiral. Brilliant, 2-1-2. I'm going to talk about admirals later. We're going to now analyze the tooltip. So I just want to throw it out there, guys, that my subject, Athens, behaves the same way as AI. He, as you can see, has his morale down, and he's most likely going to be afraid to engage this, and unfortunately for us, that means most likely be unable to help us. But, so let's go. I'll show you guys what this information means. Obviously, you've got the morale of the Navy, and you've got the morale of his nation here. This is relevant because that's basically his top potential morale, whereas you can analyze the morale of the particular fleet that you're fighting. You can see the current morale there as the naval battle continues. Rolls, hugely significant. We're actually dueling here, matching one another with a 9. We've got +2 for having an admiral, which he doesn't have, and we're winning with the fire here. So obviously you can analyze the damage of each individual ship. This is important if you're trying hard, guys, and the reason why is because you can see if a ship is taking damage by mousing over it, whether that ship is like what type of ship it is. So in terms of winning the engagement, we want to lose barks and cogs over galleys, which dish out damage. When it comes to winning. So we can see here on the first day he's down to 96. We're down to 96. We're going to go day by day, guys. The rolls are going to be very impactful, and then I'm going to break down exactly what this means. Let's talk about this really quickly. This is engagement width. You can see that I have higher engagement width. Why would that be? It's because I have maneuver on my admiral. So the best pip when it comes to Navy is maneuver with your admirals, because it allows you to move faster around the campaign map, avoiding battles and engaging the enemy at your will, when you decide to. It also gives you increased chance to maneuver out of combat, which I'm hopefully going to demonstrate here during this battle, and it gives you increased combat width, engagement width. Now, this is huge for the mid or late game. In our case, it doesn't do anything because I'm actually under the width in terms of the maximum number of fleet. So speaking of the width here, guys, you can see what is engaged. It is represented by the front line. Okay, and if we had a massive fleet, which was larger than my engagement width, you would see ships in the back line and not the front line. Everything that we have is engaged, but that is what the front line represents. So I'm going to talk about, nice, we outrolled him. We need to outroll him, guys, if we're going to defeat him in this one battle. I'm not too worried if we're going to defeat him or not. I just want to represent, win or lose, what this means. And then we're going to talk about the do's and the don'ts, as I have one other tip is what you should be doing, and one tip is what you should be avoiding. Down to 75 here, guys, despite rolling him. So it's expected for us to take more damage as we're outnumbered in galleys. Athens is actually coming into the Aegean. Okay, interesting. So even though he's trying to avoid combat, he's coming into the battle, which is for the best for us, to give us the best chance, because he wants to retreat in his one and only port. So that gives us the best chance of winning. We're down to 72. He's at 78. And there it is, guys. We've got a red ship. Now, I just noticed our one that was taking damage has maneuvered out. This is what your maneuver on your Admiral increases the likelihood for your ship to do, is maneuver out. Now, you'll notice back here that this purple is represented here with the one which is not engaged. So I have seen certain people, and this inspired me to make this video, who have been looking at their purple ships, wondering if they're doing damage or why they're not doing damage. You could come across a very large naval battle, guys, where it seems like one nation has way more ships and they're winning with their heavies, but if you click on it, you'll notice the heavies have already retreated out of combat. Once it's purple like that and it's retreated, guys, it's done. So what that means is we now have 4 galleys fighting his galleys. So despite this is going fairly well with a big roll here, we're outnumbered with our major ship that does damage by 2-to-1 ratio. We do, of course, in 6 days have Athens... Did he change his... Oh, Athens changed his mind. Okay. I don't think we're going to win this battle, guys, but we can keep analyzing it. This one is red. What does that mean? It means it's taking critical damage. It represents that it's basically surrounded, it's pincer attacked, you're putting a lot of damage into it, and you're going to see that this ship in particular, even though we only have 4 galleys, if we go by, it took a large amount of damage that month. So there's still hope. Let's see what happens. It's getting absolutely crushed. So when one is red, it's either going to maneuver out, guys, and go into the back, or it's going to die, which we'll see here shortly. We've got a second galley taking big damage. And down to 7 he goes. So there's a chance here, guys. There is a chance. As our ships are fairly healthy. Now, Athens should come in here if the battle is still going. He's going to go down to 6. We've got our own galley taking damage. And my own galley maneuvers out, guys. If I was taking this campaign seriously, that would be great. Because in this battle, we've killed 2, retreated 2. Meaning that I can just simply retreat this naval battle, repair up, and we did most of the work here, wrecking Epirus in this initial battle. Let's keep going, though. So Athens should help us. Nah, you can never depend on the AI, guys. It's just derpy. He's full morale now. But he's decided not to participate, so it's us versus them. He still outnumbers us with 6 galleys to 3 galleys. Somehow he's taking a bark critical damage. Let's keep going. I don't believe, but I'm going to keep going. We both retreated an additional galley. So we're down to 5 versus 2, guys. It's not looking good. So somebody might be convinced that due to their morale and the damage, as we're not damaged, this battle looks good, right? But to re-emphasize, we only have 2 galleys participating from this point onwards. So it's very unlikely for us to push out a significant amount of damage, and we'll see if that is represented here. Obviously, big rolls help. So it's starting to turn his way, guys. If Athens does not reinforce... Okay, we got a cog taking critical damage. I'm just pushing on. We just push on and push on and push on. Win or lose. So this represents captured ships here, guys. And you can see it's 0. Now, the only ships that you can actually capture during combat are ships which actually perish. With that being said, all of the ships in the back row have a chance to be caught also when you actually win the battle. You need to win the battle. And any ships that you have captured during combat... We've got another galley taking damage. We're going to go down to 1. they only remain under your control if you win the battle. So it's all about winning. You can often analyze whether or not it's worth continuing the naval battle, excuse me, based on how many ships you have captured. So you might have lost ships, or you might be willing to lose a ship like this, but you've actually captured a ship sitting there waiting for you. In our case, I'll take this game seriously, guys. I'm actually going to retreat. You can see that we would lose this. I'm going to retreat to repair. We started off with 5 galleys. I've got nothing captured so far, and we're going to go ahead and retreat and repair up our fleet, knowing that we eliminated 2 of his galleys. Especially if Athens helps us next time, we would ultimately win the naval battle. Okay. This is where Empress steals the ships. So this isn't what it's about here, guys. I don't actually want to continue on and have that video go on too long. I just wanted to represent what that means for you guys. And we're going to talk next up about the other major tip that I have, and that is assuming it's under the assumption that you have a very large fleet. So this is mid to late game play. What you want to do, rather than having just one mega death stack of navy, instead what I highly recommend doing is having 2 stacks. So if you have a really large stack participating way over the combat width, then when your morale goes down from ships taking damage, it's going to affect the whole fleet. And often if you have bad luck, bad rolls, whatever, they have slightly better quality than you, if they roll well and they're killing your ships, it doesn't matter how large your fleet is, you can actually lose the naval battle. Conversely, if you retreat, which is what I recommend doing, having two ships, one in reserve, or 2 fleets, excuse me, if you engage, you deal some damage to your opponent, and then quickly retreat after 11 days, then engage them with the second fleet, you now have a fleet which is very healthy versus a fleet which has taken damage, and that is what really gets results. And secondly, the big don't, which you want to avoid doing, is reinforcing a losing battle. You want to be very, very careful when looking at a battle. So this is a little tip here, guys. When repairing, we could detach our more damaged ships. You've got 3 galleys. That would bring this up to 6-6. So I'm willing to reinforce this, guys. And you can see his morale is still fairly low. He's somewhat damaged. But the important thing is that Athens is not damaged. The absolute last thing you want to do throughout the course of the game is reinforce a fleet. So we're on 6-6 now, where they are taking critical losses and critical damage. Because when your ships come in, those same ships which were engaged are about to die, and it's going to shred your naval morale. And so rather than piling into big battles, you typically want to retreat one battle and engage with the other. That's what's going to give you the best results. I hope that you learned something, that this benefits you and you can have some fun playing some more challenging nations during the current patch domination. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate you. Follow if you want more content like this, as well as like and subscribe. I'd like that. And catch me live over on Twitch. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.